Have you ever noticed how the way something is presented can completely change how you feel about it? That's the power of framing. It's how information is organized and presented, and it dramatically impacts our opinions and decisions. We don't always realize it, but we're constantly being framed. Think about news headlines, for example. One news outlet might say President announces tax cuts, while another says President pushes through controversial tax cuts. Both statements describe the same event. But the word choices, pushes through, controversial, change the way we perceive it. One sounds positive, the other negative. This subtle difference in wording can significantly affect how people react to the news and what they think about the president's actions. Framing works on a lot of different levels. It can involve the language used, the pictures shown, even the order of information presented. Imagine a study about a new medical treatment. If the report focuses on the number of people who were cured, it'll seem very successful. But if it focuses on how many people didn't get better, it'll look much less effective. The data is the same, but the way it's presented creates very different impressions. This affects how we evaluate the treatment and whether we'd want to use it ourselves or recommend it to others. Political campaigns are masters of framing. They carefully select the words and images that create a certain impression of a candidate. One candidate might be presented as a strong leader, emphasizing their decisiveness and experience. Another might be shown as a caring person, focusing on their compassion and empathy. Both candidates might have similar policies, but the different framing will create vastly different impressions in the minds of voters. This is why campaign ads can be so persuasive, even if they aren't giving you all the facts or even the full truth. They're aiming for a particular emotional response, which might or might not be based on what is actually happening. But framing isn't just used by politicians and advertisers. Think about how doctors communicate with their patients. A doctor might say, "There's a 90% chance of success with this procedure," or they might say, "There's a 10% chance of failure." Both statements convey the same information, but the first is more positive and reassuring, whereas the second is more worrying. Similarly, how teachers present information to their students also plays a huge role in shaping the students' understanding and engagement. A teacher who frames learning as a challenge encourages more effort and persistence than a teacher who frames it as impossible. The impact of framing goes far beyond simple opinions. It can affect our behavior. If a charity describes a donation as helping save a child's life, that's a strong frame that influences people more than an appeal that simply states statistics about the organization's help. This is because evoking emotion is a powerful way to grab attention and encourage action. People are generally more willing to donate to help a specific individual than to a large abstract issue. Therefore, framing that taps into this human tendency is often more effective. So, how can we protect ourselves from the effects of framing? One key is to be aware that it's happening. When we read news articles, watch commercials, or listen to political speeches, we should question the way the information is presented. Look for any biases in the language used, the images shown, or the order of information. Look for multiple perspectives. For instance, if you read an article about a controversial issue, try to find other articles from different news sources to see how the same event is framed in various ways. This broadens our understanding and reduces the impact of any single biased frame. We can also try to be more critical thinkers, asking questions like, "What's the source of this information?" Or "What is the goal of this framing?" It's important to look beneath the surface to find facts for ourselves and avoid being manipulated by carefully chosen words and images. By being more aware of framing techniques, we can become more informed and make better decisions based on a fuller understanding of the situation, not just the surface-level presentation. Ultimately, understanding how framing works is crucial in today's information-saturated world. By developing our critical thinking skills and actively seeking out different perspectives, we can better navigate the complex landscape of information and form our own informed opinions, rather than simply accepting the frames presented to us. It's about recognizing the power of words and images and taking control of how we interpret the world around us. This conscious effort is essential to becoming truly informed citizens and making thoughtful choices in all aspects of our lives, from the personal to the political.